All right, so we got UFC Vegas 50 this Saturday. And I got to say, compared to like the last couple fight nights, especially like the Hill Walker one, this is a hell of a card from top to bottom. Now, is this the no, it's not. Okay, cuz I know that the UFC is going to start taking it on the road again the fight night. So I'm super excited with that. They're going to have the live audiences again, which should make them just way more exciting. I was kind of getting used to the whole Apex thing. I know this one's going to be in the Apex. It's going to be March 12th, 7 o'clock p.m. The main card starts, which is pretty favorable for some people on the East Coast. That way you don't have to watch the main event at like 11:30, 12, like you usually have to. But I got to say, man, this is a loaded fucking card for a fight night. Alex Pereira versus Bruno Silva to start off the main card, right? Alex Pereira, a guy who, if he can keep picking up momentum, the only guy to have beaten Israel Adesanya in his kickboxing career when Izzy was at the top of the kickboxing world, obviously before transitioning to mixed martial arts, this guy Alex Pereira flatlined Israel Adesanya, and I believe he beat him twice in their kickboxing matches. So if Alex Pereira can keep moving up the ranks, I believe he's undefeated in the UFC right now. If he can move up those ranks and get to the title shot, it would make it for a very interesting storyline as well as like fight against Israel Adesanya. It'd be a really good sell. Like you got a lot of stuff you could sell there for that fight. And that's just to kick off the card. Then we got Drew Dober versus Terrence McKinney. What a fight that is, man. Drew Dober, before he fought Islam Makhachev, let's not forget about how people were talking about Drew Dober. Like, still think he's a real deal. But again, that's what happens when everyone fights Islam. It almost feels like every time Islam Makhachev fights someone, like throw away everything that person's done in the past. They're garbage. That's what it seems like. Drew Dober versus Terrence McKinney. Terrence McKinney, a guy who says he's going to be a UFC champion one day. Obviously a very exciting fighter. A guy who's obviously been in the news a lot lately. Again, just exciting. So Drew Dober versus Terrence McKinney. That's the second fight on the card. Then we got Khalil Roundtree versus Carl Robertson. So that's going to be a good fight. Khalil Roundtree is always a very exciting fighter to watch. So, it's going to be good to see him get back in there. Then we got, for the co-main event of that card, we got no, it's not even the co-main event yet. So the next fight, we got a featherweight bout. It's Sadiq Youssef versus Alex Caceres. Number 12 versus number 15. That is a hell of a fight, man. So moving on up the card, we got Marlon Moraes versus Song Yidong. And Marlon Moraes, a guy who's had a rough go, man. If you look at the last 4 fights, he lost against Aldo. Well, he didn't lose. He won the fight technically on paper, but a lot of people thought he lost that fight. Jose Aldo pretty much got a title shot right after that. It says a lot about that fight. After that, he got finished by Sandhagen. He also got finished by Rob Font, and then he got finished his last fight. So it was a guy who's, 3 knockouts and losses in a row. I would say 4 losses overall in a row, technically 3 on paper. So Marlon Moraes is a guy who's got to get back on track. Remember how scary he was, like when he was rising through the ranks of the bantamweight division? Remember how scary he was against Henry Cejudo, especially in that first round? It's been quite the fall from grace for him. He's going to take on Song Yidong, who's number 14. Marlon's number 10 now. If Marlon loses that fight, he might fall out of the rankings, He might fall out of the rankings at bantamweight. If things don't go his way, I feel like he should have done this anyway, but Marlon Moraes should go up to 145 pounds. He's so big for the weight class. Like, why do that to your body? Just, I don't know. Maybe he wants to get in there with the smaller guys, take advantage of that, but I don't see it, man. Just go up to featherweight. I feel like he'd be better there. I don't know. I feel like his gas tank would be a lot better there. We've certainly seen issues with his gas tank. We've certainly seen issues with his chin in recent fights. That weight cut might be getting to him. Then we got the main event, which is Thiago Santos versus Magomed Ankalaev. Look, man, I've been on record about Magomed Ankalaev. He's a bad motherfucker. Like, there's nothing else to be said. He's one of the scariest guys in the UFC right now. And the problem with Ankalaev is wherever the fight needs to go for him to win is where it's going to go. Now, here's my issue with Thiago Santos. Thiago Santos is a very good fighter, but we haven't seen it in recent fights. In the Johnny Walker fight, he looked good, but looked a bit tentative to me. In the Glover Teixeira fight, did not look good at all. There's certain fights in his last three fights where it didn't look like the Thiago Santos that stepped in there and went toe-to-toe with John Jones. Because Thiago Santos against John Jones was a guy who apparently with one leg went to a split decision with John Jones. Some people had him winning the fight. I didn't, but John certainly had more questionable split decisions than that one. But again, That Thiago Santos, I have yet to see him since the John Jones fight, really. So I don't know what's been happening with him. We know it's a guy who has scary, scary power, like big time power. Maybe the hardest hitting guy in the division. But again, is he going to be able to deal with Magomed Ankalaev? Even in the stand-up, is he going to be able to deal with Magomed Ankalaev? Because, Magomed is so good, man. I don't think anybody wants to see him in this division. Like, I think he's among the one or two best guys in the division. I think it's only a matter of time before he holds the belt in that division or before he's at least fighting for it. You know, whether it's him, Yuri, or Glover Teixeira, I think those are the three best guys in that division. And I think this fight's going to prove it. You know, he's number 6 and he's fighting number 5 guy in the world in Thiago Santos. It'll give him a good chance to crack into the top 5. Might even get him a title shot after this, considering he's fresh blood, right? Because you still got guys like Anthony Smith ahead of him. You know, guys that have fought for the title already. So, but the problem with this guy is, if, let's say, Thiago Santos starts landing some shots, which he's very well could, and maybe Magomed Ankalaev feels that he's in danger, you know, he's at a threat, Magomed Ankalaev is going to have no issue taking this fight to the ground and smashing him. Like, he's one of the more well-rounded fighters in the entire UFC. Scary, scary guy. But the thing is, he might just knock Thiago Santos out in the stand-up. Like, you know, go check out his last few fights. The guy is a fucking problem in the stand-up. You know, go look at his fight against Volkan Oezdemir, and that's a very telling thing. This guy dominated Volkan Oezdemir from horn to horn, from round 1 to round 3. Just dominated him all the way through. Volkan Oezdemir is a very good measuring stick at 205 to sort of figure out where you are in the division. Are you a legit guy? And Magomed Ankalaev had no issues with Volkan Oezdemir. Just did whatever he wanted with him. A beast, man. Just a beast. Again, super dangerous, not only in the wrestling, which is obvious, but in the striking. Power in his hands. Knockout power. Absolute knockout power. The guy's got dangerous kicks to the body, dangerous kicks to the head. You have to watch out, man. He's a very dangerous fighter. He throws that left kick out of the southpaw stance, and it's super fucking dangerous. So, again, this guy's scary, man. Who's going to want to face him? He's a minus 450 favorite. You know, Thiago Santos at a plus 340. You know, man, Magomed Ankalaev is going to be a big problem. If we pull up the rankings at 205, who doesn't he beat it, with the exception of a couple guys that you could debate? Because you could even debate he beats those guys too, you know? Look who's ahead of him. Anthony Smith, Alexander Rakic, Yuri Prohaska, Jan Blachowicz, Glover Teixeira. Well, yeah, we got Alexander Rakic in there too. So, again, man, look, Anthony Smith, I think he beats Anthony Smith. Jan Blachowicz, I think he beats Jan Blachowicz. Those are two guys already ranked ahead of him in the top 5. Thiago Santos, I think he's going to beat him, you know? And he may make it look fairly easily. If the Thiago Santos that from the Glover Teixeira fight shows up and Magomed Ankalaev decides that he wants to take this fight to the ground and, you know, win it on his terms easier, that's what he'll do. So, again, I don't know who's going to want to face this guy. This guy is absolutely one of the scariest guys in the entire UFC right now. So that's UFC Vegas 50. It's going to be a very good card. Again, it starts at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern time on ESPN+.